everyone. How are you today? This is Jazz. This is the Intuition for Empowered Living site. Um, so, welcome to this group. Welcome to this group. Let's talk about intuition today. So, of course, this is the place to be if you want to not only learn about intuition, because this is not a place to really fill your brain with more information about intuition, more information about tools. Your brain is probably oversaturated right now. So this is a place where you take that information and you apply it. You live it in real life. The greatest teacher is life itself, and it's experiencing life. And that's what we want to do in this group, is that experience of your intuition, so that you teach yourself through your own experience, your own observation. You teach yourself what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and how you really stand in your own intuitive power. And it's going to have wonderful repercussions in all areas of your life and in your business. So welcome, fellow soul journeyers and people who want to experience life to its fullest. What we're talking about today is going to help you also switch your energy with what's around us. So one thing that is so difficult for most of us sensitives, most of us empaths, most of us intuitives in this world is that we live in a world where the perception is linear. So, what I mean by that with a linear perception is that we feel that there's a project and it has a start, it has a clear line of steps and milestones, and then there's an end date. So, that's a linear way to look at life. So if you look at your own existence and there's birth, then there's that line of, you're 10, you're 11, you're 12, and until the day you die. So that's a linear perspective of life. So there's a beginning and there's the end, and the way is straight in between. It also means this linear perception of life, and that is so detrimental, especially to us women living cycles all the time. It is that belief that is being developed that we must be the same all the time, that there's not much space for change. There's space for improvement, there's space for forward movement, but not a whole lot of space for really being, right? So for a lot of women, a lot of my clients, there is still that belief that we have to be happy all the time, that we have to be joyful all the time, that we have to know what our next goal is all the time. And that unfortunately brings a lot of depression, and it makes a lot of my clients feel less than. It makes a lot of my clients feel that they're not good enough, they're not ready enough, they're not, so many not enoughs in their own psyche. So they just feel like they don't belong anywhere. Well, the thing is, my dear, you do belong somewhere. You do belong here, and you belong in nature. Nature is cyclical. Life is cyclical. When we look at the way of the goddess, that is also cyclical. Life is seen as a spiral, not a straight line. That means that we go in cycles of birth and growth and releasing and rebirth and more growth and more releasing, and we go through those cycles every month. We might go through those cycles every day. We go through those cycles every year. That means that our emotions, our energies also change with those natural cycles all the time, and it's completely normal. So if you feel that there are certain seasons where you're just really happy all the time, and then there are some other seasons where you feel less energy, it's normal. Now, of course, that comes with, the legal, the side note that if ever you do have a chemical imbalance in the brain, or if you do need any psychological help, do get that help. Do have the medicines that really support you. And in addition to that, I want you to really normalize that it's okay to not be the same all the time. It's okay to not be happy all the time. It's okay to have ups and downs, right? It's completely normal. And the more sensitive you are, the more intuitive you are, the more you're going to notice those natural ups and downs in your energy. So, what you need to relearn in your life, and that's one of the things that I do with my clients, especially when we work one on one, is to remember how natural those cycles are, and we work with the natural cycles as opposed to forcing us to be a certain way, to adhere to a certain linear aspect. So, one of the things that I do with my clients to assess which season they're in, because a season outside of nature might be reflected in their life, and there's also a personal season that you will notice. So, we are nearing the spring equinox, at least here in the northern hemisphere, and is the vernal or autumn equinox in the southern hemisphere. So, hello to my friends in Australia and New Zealand. So, with those changes, it's a change in season. It does affect our mood, and that's normal. It does affect what we want to eat. It affects the level of energy. It affects the level of exercise that we want to do. And you see these teachings in a lot of ancient medicine. So in qigong, in feng shui, in Ayurvedic medicine, you see that it's a good thing to follow the seasons in everything that you do, in everything that you are. So, and your emotions are going to do that. And once you're aware of how the seasons affect you and the seasons of your life, and you work with that energy instead of judging yourself so hard for wanting to do, let's say you want to do less cardio in winter than you do in summer. Well, that's okay, right? But a lot of us, we judge ourselves in winter, say, oh, I should do more cardio, I should do more running, I should, and you just should yourself all the time, and you judge yourself all the time. And that does not create more joy, does not create more flow, does not create more ease in your life, right? When you always judge yourself so hard. So recognize what season you're in, recognize your flow of energy, know that things are going to come back because life is a spiral. Things are going to come back. So don't despair, but really honor the season you're in. So you might have some really simple rituals for the change of the seasons to mark the change of the seasons in your life. One of my simple rituals that I have at the change of the seasons is that I have a collection of mugs, if you didn't know. And I have seasonal mugs. And this weekend, what I did was that all of my winter mugs, so, all the ones with snowman and winter scenes and little Christmas balls. Those are all stored on the upper shelf now, and on the middle shelf, the one that I use all the time. Then I have little chicks and hens and bunnies and spring renewal imagery. So it's a very simple thing to mark the passage of the seasons. And it's something that I really enjoy. It brings joy into my life. It brings smile to my face when I have a seasonal appropriate mug. Just, the little things in life. And the little things in life are important. It helps you live in the present moment. Now, your life might be in a different season. And we will assess that if we do work together one-on-one in a coaching program. But just like for an overview of where you might be. So if you are personally in spring, or if your business is in spring, that means that you're ready to try something new. That means that there's a new project coming your way. That means that you feel this kind of childlike energy. It's that feeling like when you graduate from college or university, and perhaps you're ready to take on the world, and you think that you know everything. That's kind of the energy of spring, is just like being so full of yourself, so full of life, so much enjoyment in life. That's the energy of spring. So if that's where you are in your business or in your life, there's very specific coaching that goes with that to support you in that discovery, in that growth, and in staying in the visiting also the shadow side of that, because the shadow side of that spring energy is a lot of arrogance. Right? I worked for the federal government for so many years, training recruits year after year, and we know that when those kids dating myself a bit when I think that 20-year-olds are kids, but when they have all of that I know everything and you 40-year-olds are just so dumb. That's a little bit of arrogance, right? But we see it all the time. So we have to look into the positive side of having that energy, of having the confidence, of moving forward, taking more risk, and also looking at the shadow side, right? So that's a very specific type of coaching. Now, if you are personally a season of summer, that means you're a season of growth. That is like the mother raising the kids. Like you're just so busy doing the thing. And in your business, you're just so busy doing your business. So it's growth, but it's constant and it's just so much effort. And you might feel exhausted because you're doing so much all the time. You're giving, 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 and you might feel depleted. So you can see that you would need a different type of healing and support and nurturing when you're in that summer of growth. So in terms of your time commitment and in terms of receiving energy, because when we're in summer, it's like we're growing something else so much outside of us, sometimes we forget to receive. So are you in summer? Is anything in the spring or summer resonating with you right now? Put that in the comments. I would love to see where you're at. So if you are in the autumn season of your life, this is a time to slowing things down a little bit, and it's a time to really receive the fruits of your labor. And so it's a time to have the lessons learned, because in autumn what typically happens is that we've grown all summer and now we pick the harvest. So it's a time for harvesting. So if it's in your business, this might be the time to raise your prices. This might be the time to let go of income lines of business that no longer work. So this can be a very difficult time as well, because it's also the season of grief. So if you're feeling that overwhelming grief in your life, you might be in autumn, because it means letting go. Just like the trees are shedding the leaves, autumn is a season to let go. And it might be really difficult because, again, we're not really taught in our society to let go of things. It's just we want to hold on to something forever. So you might be in the season of autumn, for instance, if your kids are leaving for university and now you're in an empty nest. Or if you've done a really successful launch and you've delivered on your program and now you're in that in-between season wondering what's next. Right? So those are some ways that you're in the autumn season. And so you can see, again, you need a different type of nurturing and a different type of support when you're in that season in your life. Now, what happens in winter? Winter is one of the seasons that takes almost everybody, that's kind of the hitting on the side of the head, because we're never taught that winter exists in our life. We are a society built on the eternal youth and eternal energy. So always spring, always summer, always spring, always summer, always growing, always learning, always risking. And there's no time for rest. So no wonder so many people deal with exhaustion and burnout, because if you don't cycle through all the season, you will burn out. If nature is allowed 4 months to rest, you're allowed some time to rest as well, in every day, but also in every season. So if you are going through a personal winter, what you might notice in your business, for instance, is that you can be doing the same thing you've been doing forever, but you're not generating any more sales. It's like all of a sudden, where are the clients? They're not finding you anymore. Things are just not selling the way they used to. Or you might feel completely depleted. You might feel that you don't want to do the work anymore. Your work just isn't lighting you up anymore. And there's that chronic fatigue in a way. So again, if you have any medical condition about chronic fatigue, do you go see the medical doctor? But also ask yourself, if you're in a season of winter, if you haven't taken care of yourself, if you didn't give yourself deep rest, And there's so many ways to receive rest. So that is mental rest, physical rest, emotional rest, and spiritual rest. Sometimes we do one, sometimes we do the physical rest, but we don't really take care of the mental rest. For instance, after my surgeries, and I've had many surgeries, unfortunately, in the past 10 years, so I would allow my body to rest. So I would spend some days on the lazy boy and I would rest my body. I would allow my body to ease. However, I would not give my brain the time to read and rest and reset because I'm always thinking of something new. So we have to give ourselves the gift of deep, deep rest in all the levels of our bodies, mind, emotions, and soul. So that's when we go to winter. And the funny thing is, especially in business, if you don't give yourself the gift of winter, of just stopping everything, then you'll keep spinning your wheels, and it's like you'll feel that your business is being stalled, or you'll feel like your relationships are being stalled. um, so for someone, for instance, who's looking for their life partner, who's looking for, more love in their life, but you've been going through relationship after relationship, or just wondering, like, where's my one, where's my better half, where's that person for me, but you're just kind of spinning your wheel. Perhaps you haven't given yourself the time of winter, the time of deep rest, the time to detox from everything that's been happening in your life, so that you can start fresh again come the next spring. So you see, following your intuition is more than just developing your psychic gifts. Following a life of empowered intuition is also tuning into the very energy of nature and knowing that as above, so below, as within, so without. Nature is within you. You are nature. You are part of this cycle. And honoring that deeply within you. So I invite you to write in the comments if you believe that you're in the season of spring, summer, autumn, or winter. Let me know from these quick definitions. Also, if you're ready to receive the right type of support and the right type of healing for you, depending on the season in which you are, and you want to work with me on a one-on-one private coaching program. It's a 6-month program with the right type of coaching and healing that you need. Message me and we'll see if we can get you started on the 6-month journey of healing. So this is for you if you're in a business. It's for you if you want to grow in your personal life, if you really need the rest and the support and the starting over that it is time now to create. Isn't that nice to see? Like, for most of my clients, when they fully realize which season they're in and they adapt their action to the right season, it's a game changer. The level of stress really lowers, and they can do who they are without apology, without judging themselves so hard and so harshly. And so they can live their life with more joy. And that's what I wish for you as well. So I'm here to support you being your better self in the right season, with the right timing, with the right intuitive tools. So I will see you on Friday for the next live call, and I will have a special announcement for you on Friday. I am so excited for this new spring coming into my life, this new offer I have for you. It's something that's quite different, so it's a bit of a risk. It's a bit scary for me because I'm going to be stepping into a version of myself that I haven't done so in a long time. I'm quite excited and scared, but ready for the adventure. And I hope that you will join me. So I will have that announcement for you on Friday. See you then. Until then, big hugs from my heart to yours.